Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and we just got some new Mitsurugi cards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these new Mitsurugi cards. So these cards are actually released in Alliance Inside, and this is the second wave of support for Mitsurugi. I'm super excited to check these out with you guys today because the first wave had insane cards like Murakumo and the ritual spell that took this deck all the way to tier 1 status when it was combined with other archetypes like YuGiOh, which is actually insane. So let's go ahead and check these out and see if this breaks the archetype even further. So first off, we do have a new main deck monster, and I absolutely love the artwork of this card. It looks so good. Okay, and this card is actually a level 4 Dark Reptile effect monster with 1200 attack and 900 defense points. And if this card is normal or special summon, or if this card is tributed, which I believe the other monsters actually had that ability, that their effects go off if they're tributed as well, that you can actually add a Mitsurugi monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. And if another reptile monster you control would be destroyed by a battle by card effect, you can tribute this card instead. This card is instantaneously a 3 of in the Mitsurugi deck. Because it's a level 4 monster, you can still use it with the YuGiOh cards, which is pretty good. It doesn't lock you into anything. And being able to add any of your Mitsurugi monsters from your deck to your hand off its effect, if it is normal, special, or tributed, is actually a crazy ability. This card is awesome for the archetype, and I really like this card. Okay, so for the next card, we have another main deck card, and this card is now a level 8. This archetype now finally has a level 8 monster. Previously, we only had level 4 monsters for the main deck monsters besides the rituals, but now we actually have a new level 8 monster, which is really cool. Okay, so this card is a level 8 Dark Reptile effect monster with 2000 attack and 2000 defense points. That's really nice that it's a level 8 for the ritual summons, because I believe all the ritual monsters are level 8. Okay, and so for this card's ability, you can special summon this card in your hand by tributing one of the reptile monster from your hand and a monster your opponent controls. Whoa! But you cannot special summon nor activate monster effects for rest turn except reptiles. Okay, so this is going to make it so you're going to want to play the deck a little bit more pure, or play it with other archetypes like a Dodic instead of YuGiOh. If you're going to play this card, it is a little bit of downside that it does have that ability that it does lock you into reptile monsters, but being able to actually tribute one of your other reptile monsters from your hand and a monster that your opponent controls is a broken ability. Just to be able to deal with one of your opponent's monsters while also getting a monster on your side of the field is really good. Also, if this card is tributed, you can discard a card, and if you do, add this card back to your hand. That's a pretty good effect, so you can get bricks out of your hands. So if you are going first and you do want to get this card out on your side of the field and you end up tributing it for a ritual summon, you can basically just discard a brick that you don't really need. Say you have a copy of Nibiru, Floros, any of those cards that you need going second, and you're going first, you can actually just discard something that you really don't need out of your hand, or even something that you want in the graveyard if you're playing in a Dodic version of this deck, which would be really interesting to be able to do. And I like this card overall for the pure reptile build. It's not going to be good in the YuGiOh build, but it's going to be really good in the reptile build, especially since it's a level 8. That's going to help out a lot for a bunch of different plays. That's actually a really good card. Okay, so we do have a new ritual monster as well. This card is really cool. That is actually insane looking. I believe we've actually, this card is so cool looking. Wow. Okay. This card is a level 8 Dark Reptile Ritual Effect monster with 2400 attack and 1800 defense points. And you can ritual summon this card with Mitsurugi Ritual, and monsters your opponent control lose 800 attack points. That's a pretty interesting effect to actually drop them down. So this card might as well be at 32 because there will be a gap between your opponent's monsters and this card. So anything that is less than 3200 is not going to be able to swing over this unless it's completely unaffected. Okay, and so for this other card's ability, you can reveal this card in your hand to special summon a Mitsurugi monster from the deck, then tribute a monster you control. That is broken. You're not ritual summoning this, you're keeping it in your hand, so you can reveal it, special summon your Mitsurugi monsters left and right. That is insane. That is such a good ability to help you get your monsters out on your side of the field. This card is instantaneously going to be in the deck because you have the ability to basically e-tele your monsters out to your side of the field, and that is really good. For the other ability, but you can only use this effect once per duel. That is so good though, that even though you can only summon it once per duel, you're still getting the ability to be able to summon out one of your Mitsurugi monsters to your side of the field by tributing one, which gets your plays really rolling. So you really want to play this card at least one in the build. And if this card is tribute, you get to add a Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand, except for the copy of this card. Then you can special summon this card. That is really good. So basically what you're doing is you're ritual summoning this card out to your side of the field, and then you get to add whatever you want from your deck to your hand, but that's a once per turn effect, where the previous effect is a once per duel effect. So you don't want to keep it in your hand. You're going to want to use the ability, then ritual summon it out to your side of the field. Then you're going to want to tribute it so that you can basically use its ability to add the next Mitsurugi card you want from your deck to your hand. And I love the fact that it can just add any Mitsurugi card you want from your deck to your hand. That is so good that you can add anything you want from your deck to your hand for Mitsurugi. And it's a really good card overall. I like this card a lot. I'm not sure how many we're going to play because it is a once per duel effect. You might play it at like 2 in the deck, but it's pretty good overall to be able to use. Maybe even at 1, because the previous monster, this one actually has the ability to add a Mitsurugi monster. So you might play this card as like a 1 of in the deck, and then you can also use it to be able to tribute, which is pretty good, so that you can actually just get the exact card you want and then special summon. It's actually gearing up for some really interesting XZ plays as well, because now you have another level 8 in the deck, which is pretty good. And this one just special summons itself. Okay, so we do have, we got a new ritual spell. Mitsurugi Mirror. Okay, so this card has the ability, this card can be used to ritual summon any reptile monster. That's interesting. I don't feel like there's very many reptile ritual monsters outside of Mitsurugi yet, but that's pretty cool. But you can use this card to ritual summon any reptile monster from your hand or your graveyard, and you must also tribute reptile monsters from your hand or field whose total level equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. And if you have your one of the 3 different Mitsurugi ritual monsters that you control is tributed, while this card's in the graveyard, you can shuffle this card in the deck, which is a pretty interesting ability that it does particularly mention all 3 of the different Mitsurugi ritual monsters. So you can actually use this card with cards like Pre-Preparation of Rites, I believe. So you can actually search it out because it does specifically mention them by name, which is pretty cool. I like that overall, and it's a really cool ability that it does actually mention all 3 of the Mitsurugi cards, and I really like that overall. This card is awesome though. I love the artwork of it. It looks really, really neat. But I'm not sure how many you're going to play in the deck. Maybe like 2, because the other ritual spell is just insane. Mitsurugi ritual is insane. It's basically like a branded fusion, but this card overall is really neat. I really like it, and it's really going to help out the deck a lot. For the next card, we have Mitsurugi Magatama, and this card is a quick play spell card, and has the ability during the main phase, you can activate one of these effects to tribute a reptile monster, target one face of monster opponent controls, and destroy it. That's pretty good, so you can pop a card, or ritual summon a Mitsurugi ritual monster from your hand by trading monsters you control whose total level equal or exceed the level. That's actually pretty neat. So you can use this ability to be able to either ritual summon or to pop a monster. So it's not a ritual spell, but it is a ritual spell. So the deck kind of sort of has like 3 different cards now to be able to ritual summon, which is actually pretty cool, and I like that overall. I do see this card seeing play. I'm not sure how many. You might play it at 1 because you want that pop effect, and also being able to just ritual summon during your opponent's turn is going to be very, very interesting, because a lot of your ritual monsters in the deck let you actually, when they're tributed, you special summon them back to your side of the field. So this card is going to be very interesting to be able to use in the deck. It is kind of sort of like really good. This card is actually really, really good. The more I think about this card, the more this card is just insane. But this card is really good for the deck overall. Being able to just use it as a quick play spell to ritual summon something like a Murakumo to your side of the field during your opponent's turn, and just tributing one of your other ritual monsters, or vice versa, tributing one of your other ritual monsters to summon out Murakumo is going to be really, really insane. Or tributing Murakumo to ritual summon out a monster is going to be really insane, so you can bring Murakumo back to your side of the field, which is actually pretty good. This card overall is pretty insane. I really like it overall, and it is looking more like we're going to play this deck more pure now, which is going to be really insane. But I do see this deck being at least tier 2, maybe even tier 1 with the support, and we're not even done yet. Okay, so what else do we have? We have a awesome, that looks so cool. I thought this was a field spell when I first looked at it, but it's actually a continuous spell. This card is called Mitsurugi Sacred Boundary. And this card is a continuous spell card, and your opponent can target Mitsurugi ritual monster control card effects of monsters that were special from the extract. That's pretty interesting. I really wish you just said that they couldn't be targeted, because then you can like block cards like Imperm and Valor, but or just not imperm, but you can block cards like Valor, but it's still pretty good overall. For the other effect, you can actually target 4 Mitsurugi cards in your graveyard, except a copy of this card, shuffle in the deck. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can make them tribute 1 monster they control, their choice. That's pretty good. Okay, so we recycle the resources, and we force our opponent to actually tribute a monster, their choice. If they only have 1 Big Towers monster, this card actually affects the opponent, and it doesn't affect the card, so it actually will force them to tribute one of their monsters, so they have to choose which one they tribute, which is actually pretty cool. But it does affect the player and not the card, which is pretty interesting. This card is really neat. I really think this card is going to be nice because the deck does need a little bit of like consistency, and it's getting a lot of consistency in this wave of support because you're getting the ability to be able to like search. There's 2 different cards to search, and now there's this that recycles resources, and your opponent can target it with monsters that are special in the extract. I don't think this card is going to see a lot. Like, you're not going to play like a bunch of copies of this. You're probably going to play like 1 of this in the deck to be able to like recycle your stuff, but also that ability to be able to use it every turn to be able to tribute one of your opponent's monsters is pretty good. It's pretty good to get stuff out of the way so you can actually just go in. We also have a new trap card, and this card is called Mitsurugi Tempest. And this card is a normal trap card, and if you have a Mitsurugi ritual spell in your graveyard, which we have 2 different ritual spells, tribute 3 monsters whose original name are the 3 different ritual monsters, make your opponent banish exactly 8 cards from their hand, extract, field, and their graveyard. Whoa! Okay. I'm not sure if this is going to actually see play. It's a big cost, okay? So you do have to have all 3 of your Mitsurugi ritual spells in the grave. And then you have to tribute all 3 of your different Mitsurugi monsters. So you have to tribute all 3 of your different Mitsurugi ritual monsters. You have to actually put all 3 of them on the board. And then you have to tribute all 3. And then it makes your opponent banish exactly 8 cards from their hand, extract, field, and their graveyard. So you technically could play this going first. Your opponent draws, and if you can get all 3 of your ritual monsters out on your side of the field, they're going to be able to use this, tribute all 3 of them, and then just basically rip your opponent's entire extract. Or not their entire extract, but either their entire hand or part of their hand plus part of their extract, because they're not going to have any cards in the graveyard or any cards on the field. And then all of your Mitsurugi rituals are going to go off and summon themselves back or use their abilities. This is actually really strong, but it takes a lot of setup. It might be a 1-of in the deck. It kind of seems interesting. I'm not sure how much play this is going to see. It's a really cool card overall. At most, you're going to play this at 1, but it's going to be like a side deck card maybe. But there are going to be builds that are just going to be dedicated to pulling this off. I do see that. I see that incoming, that we're going to see this actually just where you're going to see this card go off, and it's just going to instantly end a game. Like, it's going to instantly end the game. Like, in certain matchups, wow, that's actually really good. In certain matchups, if you did this against Monarch and they don't have an extra deck, this would be insane. With Monarch getting support soon, this is going to be insane. But overall, really interesting support. Maybe a 1-of. Maybe a 1-of. Probably a 1-of. This card, I'm not sure. It might be a 1-of. It might come up a lot where you're going to be able to use this to board wipe, which is going to be really interesting because you can actually tribute like more Kumo, bring it back to your side of the field. It helps you dodge different cards. The more I think about this, it's going to help you dodge different like hand traps that are targeting. So you can like tag them out and then summon out something else, which would be really neat because you can quick play use this, tribute them for cost, and then go off. But this card is really good overall. To be able to play. I'm not sure how many you're going to play this. I'm going to say safely 2, because it's going to be able to just ritual summon during your opponent's turn. This, I feel like, is also like a 2-of in the deck to be able to ritual summon. The other one's better, but the ability to be able to just list all the ritual monsters is just insane. Like, that's really, really good. But I think maybe 2 on this. And then this is maybe, again, a 1 to a 2-of, the new ritual monster. This... If you're playing pure and you're not playing Ryziel, this card is probably a 3-of. If you're playing Ryziel, it's a 0. If you're mixing it with anything but reptiles, it's 0. But if you are playing this pure, this card's a 3-of. Because of that ability to be able to tribute one of your opponent's monsters, it's just absolutely broken to be able to summon this. You tribute one of your reptiles, tribute one of your opponents, special summon this card, locks you into reptiles, and then also tribute you discard something, add it back to your hand. This card is probably, and I love that it's actually sitting on more Kumo's head, but this card is probably a 3-of in pure. And then this card is definitely a 3-of, because if it's tributed, then, or if it's normal, special, or tribute, you get to add a Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand. This card's literally the Stratos, and it's now the best card in the deck for normal summoning. This card is so good. This card is exactly what the deck needed. The deck needed a Stratos, and now we have it. And then also, like, this support is so good. This wave is so, they actually, like, did this right. This might be one of the best, like, TCG exclusive archetypes we've ever gotten since, like, Burning Abyss's introduction, where BA was just like absolutely insane when it first started. But this is actually, or maybe even Cosmo. Like, Cosmo was really good when it first started too. But this might be the best TCG exclusive archetype we've ever gotten. Really. Like, especially when you compare it to like Tistina, Godi, even like the new like Ashened archetype, relatively new Ashened. This might be the best one in recent history. This is really, really good support. But overall, that is going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of notification squad, and definitely tell me what you guys think about these new cards, and tell me what numbers you're going to be playing them at in your deck. Overall, though, I think I'm pretty close on them. The only ones I'm a little bit unsure about is this one. Again, I feel like this one's probably 0 to 3. And I feel like this one is probably a 2. This is like a 2. This is like 2. And this is like 1 and maybe 0 to 1. I'm not sure. This one's really kind of like gimmicky. This one's really gimmicky, but it can be game ending. I really feel like they're going to be builds where you're just going to like Eater of Millions, get rid of your opponent's entire extra deck, and then pop that card, and it's just going to completely demolish your opponent. Like, they're not going to play at all. So that might get, that might get broken. Okay, so that's gonna be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.